Today I'm going to sit my ass right down here and explain to you in under 10 minutes how I went from a broke, no rich uncle, no family surname, kid from a population town of 30,000 people to networking with some of the biggest names in the industry. And I had no right to do that. It was against all the odds. I want to tell you the secrets of how I did it. Let's sit down. So I'm going to make this as simple as possible for you, okay? I'm actually at a disadvantage in life compared to, I imagine, 95% of you watching this. When I say I've come from nothing, I have come from nothing, and if I can do it, I guarantee you can do it too. To be able to say, and have the power to say, that I've been in the room, that I've worked with the people like Dan Martell, Iman Gadzhi, Paul, whose office I'm in, it's something that someone from where I'm from shouldn't be able to say. And I reflected on my journey recently, and networking actually isn't a word that's promoted too much or used too much. We always hear buzzwords like personal branding, etc. And I think networking is probably one of the most undervalued skill sets that there is out there. And especially as a beginning entrepreneur, your skill set will only take you so far, but the opportunities and the people that you know is a reason that you will end up making true cash. And there's 3 pillars that I feel like I've identified that are key for this. Number 1 is the bridge, number 2 is horizontal networking, and number 3 is vertical networking. Now vertical networking, the third point, is where the millions are made, but the first 2 are key to get there, okay? Number 1 is going to be the bridge. The bridge is your skill set. The bridge is, how do I become valuable? So think about it like this. You're at this side of the canyon. The person you want to network with is on this side of the canyon. Here's the gap, okay? You need to build a bridge. So the bridge is going to be your vehicle to get yourself into the room. So self-reflect, ask yourself, what's that one thing that I'm focused on that makes me valuable to the people that I want to talk to? Okay? Now once you've identified that, whether that's sales, whether that's e-commerce, whether that is marketing, whether that's anything to do agency-wise, whatever it is that your skill set is, you need to self-reflect. Why am I valuable to be in the room? Now number 2 is a concept that I call horizontal networking. This is probably a concept that I haven't heard before, genuinely. And it is the key for me to be able to get into the rooms of the people that are ultra successful, okay? The number 1 key word that I want to talk to you about here is, am I recommendable? Recommendable. Necessarily, if you go and you reach out to Iman, okay, and you say, hey Iman, I am a great sales rep, okay? Yes, that might be true, but who around him can say, oh yeah, I've seen him before, or oh yes, I've worked with him, or yeah, he's actually worked with one of my friends before, okay? Now this is where horizontal networking comes in, okay? This is the underrated value of the people that are beside you. These could be the people that are 0 to 6 months ahead of you, okay? And there's 3 core reasons for this. Number 1 is you never know who somebody else will know. You don't know what tables they're at, you don't know what conversations they're in, you don't know what access they have. So to neglect the people around you, to neglect the community of people that are on the same journey as you is naive, because they will be able to get you into rooms, maybe not now, but in the future. So the first question to ask yourself is, once you have that bridge, once you have that vehicle, what people am I surrounding myself with on a day-to-day basis that over time, might not be right now, but over time in the long term, will they, through my skill set, be able to recommend me to a person that would be valuable? Okay, so imagine you have 1,000 followers, a small amount of followers, okay? Each of them followers on a day-to-day basis are having conversations with people and are in rooms that you aren't aware of. So if each of them 1,000 followers are in a room with 10 people, that actually means there's 10,000 people that you could possibly be recommended to on a day-to-day basis. And I guarantee you haven't even thought about that. So what if you have 4,000 or 5,000 followers? What if out on a day-to-day basis, if you're in some sort of community, you're reaching out and people are aware of your skill set and what you hold? That opens the door to thousands of conversations that your name can be mentioned in that you haven't thought about before. So I'll give you like a core example of just my day-to-day stuff, okay? I have a members club of entrepreneurs, and the exciting thing is, like, yes, we can all earn good money now. There's guys who earn 10K, 20K, 30K, 40K, 100K, 200K. And that's great money now. It would be naive of me to think, oh no, but I want to network with da-da-da-da-da. Okay, shut up. You have 100 people beside you on a day-to-day basis that could be doing good figures. But what you do have to realize is someday they're going to be doing even better figures. They're going to be living an even better life. They're going to be in higher level conversations than you can even imagine. So you need to be able to focus on the bridge, your skill set, your valuability, because this is a long game and this isn't a short game. And that's why horizontal networking is key. If you're not just in it for the 10K month figure mark, you want to know that people who are similar to you are succeeding. You want to know that people similar to you are moving up in this life. And there's nothing different between you and them. There's something that separates you and them. And that is motivating when you see somebody that you know day by day succeeding, because that gives you the self-belief. That breaks limiting beliefs that you can do it too. So emotionally, when your environment around you day by day is striving towards success, that in itself is valuable enough, because the issue with most people isn't that they didn't become successful. The issue is they didn't stay in the game long enough to become good enough to be successful. And I always say to the guys, play the long game. Think in years. I'm actually starting to not ask the question of how much do you earn a month, because I think it's naive. It's short term. How much you in a year? It's not about having a good month. It's about doing it for decades. And that is the name of the game. And that is why your environment is super, super important. I want to end the point of horizontal networking by saying a fact. If you're not around men on a day-to-day basis that are striving towards the same goals as you, that are the same as you, or 2 or 3 or 4 or 6 months ahead, you're missing the point. The point is you need to become recommendable and you need to be in the right rooms, not just now, but in 5 years' time. Think long term. Now, pillar number 3 is the vertical networking. If you have your bridge, you have your skill set. If you have your environment on a day-to-day basis and the people around you and you're recommendable, vertical networking is when you network up. And this is where the money is made. So my brand is I've kind of become the network guy. I just have access to anyone and pretty much everything in the online space. And I've landed myself here over 2 or 3 years. So yet again, let me give you a real life example, okay? So every single Tuesday on 8 Players Club, we bring in a special guest speaker, okay? We've had the likes of Dan Martell on. We've had Ravi Paval on. We've had Jordan Platten on. We've had James Doolan from the School of Hard Knocks who goes around saying, how do you become a millionaire? All that sort of stuff, okay? But I'd Colin Erickson, Luke Alexander, Arlen Moore, Bill Walsh, Josh Lyons, Matt Shields, Chris Berman, the biggest names in the industry. And people are like, bro, how do you make these calls happen? And they don't look at where we began. This is the secret. It all ties back to being resourcefulness and being recommendable. So the first calls that we had were people that I just had easier access to, okay? So you need to ask yourself, okay, well, if the end goal is these sort of people, you need to reverse engineer. Who do them sort of people know? Who do they follow? And who do they trust? So my first few calls weren't necessarily the biggest names in the game, but they were friends of mine. They were valuable people. They were people that people trust. And that's key and that's important. So for example, we had Jordan Welch on recently. I'm gonna blank out his responses just to be respectful to him. But first of all, I would have opened up with like, hey George, just watching a video regarding God. So deep, love that. I have a group of 80 plus guys who are in your 20-year-old sales position right now, okay? All making 5K a month to 8K a month with their businesses. We've had Colin, Luke, Arlen, Dan, etc. on. Would love to have you as a guest speaker. A lot of these guys are inspired by your story plus your relationship with Christ. Let me know if that's something you'd be open to, bro. Okay? And he responded pretty fast. And if I had just said, hey bro, love what you did here, without the credibility of the people that we've had on in the past, would he have responded there? Would he have been as keen to come on? Definitely not. So the question you need to ask yourself when it comes to vertical networking is, who can I attach myself to who's already in the game, who's been in the game longer than me, whose skill set is trusted by others that are way ahead of me in the game? That's how you climb the ladder. And this isn't an instantaneous thing. This is something that's taken me 2.5 or 3 years to be able to talk to these guys, to be able to be in the same rooms, to be able to have them as guest speakers, to be able to sit down for dinner, to be able to do business with these people. Takes time. Networking takes time. And it can't be a relationship that you're going to go into and say, how can I give, take? A lot of networking is give, and at some stage you will get. Now, a common misconception with networking that I will add in as a bonus is people often think that networking is just about how can I benefit from the person or how can they benefit from me. Networking doesn't always have to relate to just you being the connection. I've had so many relationships where I've built them from connecting people that I knew horizontally who had a certain skill set with the people who I seen wanted someone with that skill set who was higher level, okay? So for example, I was following this guy who has an info offer on the online space, right? And I think he had 2 million followers, okay? He put up on the story, hiring a closer, okay? I don't close anymore, but I have people horizontal to me that are very, very good closers. Now, what did I do? Replied to his story and said, hey man, I have someone who I can highly recommend. Let me send them over to you, okay? Created a group chat with him and him. Now, they went on to have a relationship where that guy met this guy a hell of a lot of money. Now, what does that make me? That makes me credible. That makes me invited to the events. That makes me a person who they respect and they'll trust my opinion again. Or they'll come back to me and ask for more closers, okay? That's just a key example of how if you're just the middleman between these connections, at any opportunity, if you see someone ahead of you or even beside you that needs to be connected with somebody that you know horizontally, that gets you in the conversation. That makes you respected, and only put people forward you will put your name on. And that is key. Networking is extremely important. It's extremely undervalued actually. And I can say firsthand that it's changed my life. And those 3 pillars of networking should change yours too. Self-reflect. Ask yourself what the bridge is. What's your skill set? Who can you horizontally connect with? And then once the horizontal is done, how do you build credibility under your name to get the vertical networking in place? My name has been James Galligan. If you want to know more from me, follow me on Instagram. We'll talk there. For now, amen.